Hi everybody, this is Harmony with Cornerstone Stitchery and welcome to my channel. Here we talk about my crafting journey, which usually revolves around cross stitch with some knitting and crochet thrown in here and there. This video though is all about the WIP Parade. So this is, I'm filming this on December 30th, 2024, and this will serve as my end of the year WIP Parade, and I will show you everything that I have left, all the WIPs I have left. By my calculations, I really only finished 12 cross-stitch projects this year. That's including the 2 designs. Actually, that would be 13 actually, because I have 3 designs in my company, Cornerstone Stitchery, and then 10 designs from other designers that I have finished by my calculations. I'm not sure if I have everything logged down because I really fell off the journaling and logging bandwagon really early on in the year. Excuse me. But also, I wanted to give a brief recap on where I have been the last couple of months. I do not believe that I posted a video since maybe the beginning of October when I did this Prairie Schooler September wrap-up video. I had a cross-stitch retreat mid-October. Then the following weekend, my husband and I went away for the weekend. And then life got busy with work because we were finishing up count day activities. I think that ended mid-November. And then the following week, I went on to a conference for work for 2 days. And the week before I went to the conference, the weekend before I went to the conference, I got sick for the first time. And then on December 1st, I went to MedExpress and I had pneumonia. Then December 15th, I went to MedExpress with a different ailment that needed medication. And then yesterday, December 29th, I went to MedExpress yet again to get more antibiotics for, I think what happened is the previous ailment, even though the antibiotics kicked it out, I don't think it was the right antibiotics after talking to the doctor yesterday. And so it just kind of flared back up again. And so I have been unwell. Besides all of the life activities and things going on, I've been unwell. So hopefully this round of antibiotics will kick out the infection and I will be better from here on out, starting 2025 healthy. I hope. I don't know if you can see, but I do have my special guest with me again. He is taking up more of my space than he's supposed to, but he's supposed to be on that side of the love seat, and but he likes my side of the love seat for some reason. Whatever. I hope that we can get through my WIPs before anything outside catches his attention and he causes a lot of noise. I took some time yesterday and today updating my Notion databases with all of my current WIPs. I do believe that I have found them all because I'm not sure if you are all like this, but when life is happening, I'm not always the most organized and projects get thrown here, there, or everywhere. And I had a lot of cleanup to do. You can see my rolly cart here to my right, and it was pretty messy. It's still not cleaned up 100%, but I did dig through and organize a little bit to get some floss that needed to be put away. I didn't get it put away yet, but it's contained. And I found some WIPs. I found finish, a finish in the pile up here in the top tray. It was a hot mess. This fall, I have actually been crocheting a lot because Christmas was coming and I needed to get things done. So for my coworkers in my office, I have 9 females and I have 2 bosses. They're both male. I did not get them a Christmas gift this year. But for the females, for the ladies, I crocheted scrunchies. And I don't know if I showed you these before. I was making some a couple of months ago and they're made out of Juicy Couture velvet yarn that you can get exclusively at Joann's. This is not a plug for Joann's. It's just, unfortunately, it's only available there. This is called Dark Crimson, this particular color. So I was making tons of scrunchies because I ended up with 5 different colors, and I wanted them to be able to pick their color out of those 5 instead of me like just giving them a random color and then them not really care for it, which I'm glad I did, because let me see. This color here, which is a really cool gold called Notre Dame, out of the 4 that I had available, only 1 person chose it. So that is exactly why I wanted them to choose their own versus me giving them out. So, and this is the original color that I bought a couple months ago, and I think I may have showed you. So right now I have, I believe 8 in a box, all ready to go. And then I decided the other day that I wanted to finish up like using all of the yarn to make sure it was gone and out of the house. So I have 5 more, and I believe that I can make with a brighter pink. I think I have enough yarn left to make 3. So, and then I made some gifts for those little kids in that family at church that I love so much. Their gifts alone took me a week. So I was doing nothing but crocheting for them for a week. I was also not well, or recovering maybe from not being well. And so it was slow going. Also, when I'm not well, I really lose the crafting or the desire to craft. I just want to survive. So between life and not feeling well, and then the desire to not craft, or the loss of the desired craft, I don't have a ton of things to show you besides those. The gifts for the children are already given, so they're gone, so I can't show you those. I do have pictures, but they're not very well. So that's a quick recap of where I've been and what I've been up to. So let's then dive right into the WIP Parade. I was going to actually do an update video, but Kim Hollenbeck here on YouTube or Spartan Stitcher on Instagram, depending on where you follow along, she suggested, Harmony, just forget it. Just start fresh with a WIP Parade and then call it a day, because it's been 2 months and I'd have to try to figure out where I left off with you all. So I decided to do that, which I wanted to film a WIP Parade anyway. So after I updated my Notion, I discovered that technically speaking, I have 54 WIPs. And sorry to ruin the surprise if you wanted to kind of count as we went along. And I say technically 55, but I am counting County Fair 1 and County Fair 2 by the Prairie Schooler as kind of one project, because I'm stitching them all on the same fabric, and both charts have exactly the same called for floss or used floss, DMC. So it's kind of, and they're all the same. So I'm counting it as one project, even though it's 2. So my Notion shows 54 WIPs, but I know other people would count it as 55. So I do not have stats. I did not take the extra time on writing down stats of like if I'm 20% done or 25% done or 50% done. One, because there's 55 of them and not all of them are on. Because there's 55. 2, not all of them are PDF patterns that are in an app where I can track progress. I just don't have stats for all of them, so I'm not doing stats for any, if that makes sense. Okay, so with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get started. I do not have any of the bags unzipped. For those of you that are wearing earbuds of any kind, I know that can be annoying, but some of these have lots of floss, and if you've seen any of my videos before, I just throw the floss in the bag, so things can easily go awry. I think on one of my last videos, I found floss on the floor afterwards when I was cleaning up, and I had no idea what bag it was supposed to go in. So I will be unzipping and zipping back up. So just a fair warning on that. And there are 54 bags. One's actually in a Ziploc bag for some reason. So that's That's not going to be any. So I have them all here in a bin, and then the bin actually got so full I had to use a tote bag. So they're all here. So let's go ahead and get started. I do have the information in front of me on my iPad here so I can see my Notion. And so I know the pattern design name and I know the designer. So I'll be able to give at least those two. There are some that I do not know the fabric, so I apologize in advance. I'm not a very good journaler. So hopefully I'll be, you know, if I can just get disciplined, I'll be able to keep those notes in the future because I really do like Notion, and it can do so much more than what I'm using it for. But anyway, okay, so let's get started. These are in alphabetical order, again, because I'm not a great journaler. I don't know when I started all of these. So alphabetical order it is. So number 1 at the beginning is a Prairie year. I've been working on this for a while, just ticking away at the different blocks. I've done, I think I have 5 finished, 6 finished. Let's see if I can recollect real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finished, and I've started on number 6. I do not have them all in here. I'm missing, for some reason, Santa Claus. The December block got put up with my finishes instead of staying in the bag. So these are the ones I have done so far. The turkey for November, the schoolhouse for September, the flag heart for July, Santa, like I said, is upstairs, and then the watermelon for August. Yeah, who does this? I really want to speak to the person who did this and wasted that fabric. I don't know what happened, but as you can see, they're all kind of a little off, but I think it's because I don't actually know why. I can't even tell you. And this one I actually started and I already had made a mistake. It was actually supposed to go like this, I think. And I had already made a mistake and I'm like, forget it. I'm not even going to rip out and start over. I knew I had plenty of fabric, so I just turned around the corner. And then I had started this during September, Prairie School September, and I'm almost finished. But what I was doing in September was stitching 500 stitches and moving on to the next project. So I must have hit my 500 and had to move on. And I'm kind of even though they're self-imposed rules, I'm kind of a rule follower. So I moved on. But that can easily be finished. Okay, we'll talk about that later. I was gonna say something else. But in order to stay on track, we have to not go off track. We have to stay on point. Okay, so most of the Prairie Schoolers that you will see, I started in September for my little game of Prairie Schooler September, and so they're all stitched on the same thing. They're on Monaco. It's either white, ivory, antique white, or I coffee tea dyed it. They're all on Monaco, 28 count. I don't know if Monaco actually came in anything other than 28 count. I've never seen anything else. So number 2 is Adam Names the Creatures. This is huge. It's much larger than what it looks like. And I think I put 1,000 stitches into this project and I've only just got the tip of the iceberg done. This is coffee tea dyed. I need a lot more colors, and that will be my next step, is going into Notion or going through each of these projects and noting down what flosses I need. And I'm gonna have to do a big floss purchase because I am in need. I love the smell, by the way, side note. I love the smell of coffee tea dye fabric when it's fresh. So this is how far I've gotten. I do believe that this is a 3-inch margin, and I do have it all the way around. So as you can see, it's a pretty large piece. And there's flowers and a border, 2 borders, Adam and Eve, a nasty serpent in the middle. The hippopotamus is almost done. I didn't have the gray color for the, let me fold this back up, okay? I didn't have the gray color for the shadowing on his legs and body, but other than that, he is complete. Working on the giraffe and the lion next. So I hope to get some new colors so I can get started on some of the other parts of these projects. Because when I kit up a project, I only worry about where I'm going to start, and I start on the bottom right hand corner. So I don't worry about a color that I may need way over there on the top left. I worry about what I'm going to be stitching on right at the moment. So project number 3, I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with the numbers, but number 3, because they're not numbered on Notion, and I don't know if I can add that. I'm sure I could add a column. This is Alice in Wonderland. This is a sale from several years ago by Owl Forest Embroidery, and I couldn't keep, it was from 2021 now that I remember, because I was stitching Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers at the same time, and it was kind of a lot between even just the 2 projects to keep up on, and so I did fall off. And it's a pretty large project too. So I am complete here. No, I'm not. I have a little bit down here in the corner to do here, but other than that, the whole side is done. And then I decided that I was going to come over and do the Cheshire Cat, because I thought that I could make great progress on that because it's a big project, and I think I've stitched on it 2 or 3 times, and it's not done yet. I did make a mistake, but we're rolling with it, and it won't impact any of the parts around it. It's just such a large project. Such a large project. It is cute though. This is stitched on 18 count Ada that I coffee teed on myself, and I'm using the called for DMC, the DMC conversion by Owl Forest Embroidery, because they do dye their own floss, but they include a conversion, and there's a lot of colors. There's a lot, but it's okay. I will get back to this. Of course, that's what we all say, and we'll get back to them eventually. So, and I do not think that I actually, did I work on that last year? I don't think so. I don't think I did. Some of these I did not work on in 2024. I just didn't. I had a lot of good things going on. Okay, this is some of the paper charts I have in sleeves, the paper Prairie Schoolers, and this is Autumn Leaves, and it has the big version, because usually Prairie Schooler charts, besides the Santas, come with multiple projects. So there's the big project and there's the 4x4 project, but actually they pulled out the center. I know it's hard to see. They pulled out the center and did the 4x4s as individual full coverage ornaments. I got decent progress on this. I think I worked on this twice and got just over 1,000 stitches. Because okay, so earlier when I said I'm a stickler for the rules, and when I hit my 500 I move on, I finish my thread out and then I move on. So it could be 511, 520, it just depends on when I started my thread, if that makes any sense. So pretty good progress so far for only getting 1,000 stitches in. And I'm working on the large piece, there. I hope you can see that. I hope I have it in frame. I film on my iPhone with the camera facing me, so I can't see what I'm doing. But I think I've gotten used to it so far where I know where to put the object that I want you to see without messing up too much. This is the Beatitudes by Little House Needleworks. And this is a big piece as well. My water's way over there. The Beatitudes. There's a lot of text, but it goes fast and it's quite fun. It looks like this is 28 count Monaco that I coffee tea dyed. It is a large piece as well. This is half of it. where are we? Okay, don't unfold it that way. So this is where I'm at so far. Let's see. Apparently I'm working on the house in the grass. And I know I had a setback in this one of the previous times I worked on it. I was doing this flower here up on the side of the house, and I miscounted and it threw off the house in the grass. So I had to rip out and do it over. And then I think I had a mistake here in the flowers in the flower pot, and I had to start that over as well. However, I think I'm back on track now and working on this. I am using a mixture of the called for, they designed this when it was actually still Crescent Colorworks, but they since bought the, I think you all know this, they bought the company and renamed it Classic Colorworks. So that's what they primarily use, was Crescent Colorworks and Classic Colorworks now. And so I'm using a mixture of those in DMC, just depending on, my iPad went to sleep. Depending on where they're used, if I didn't feel that it was going to give enough variation in the coloring, then I didn't use it. I believe I'm using it for the house and the trees. I think for the words too, I'm using hickory sticks. So I do that sometimes. It just depending. If it's only a couple of stitches and you're not going to see the variegation in the color, I don't spend my money on that. And everybody has to do it the way that they see is best. So this one is by Cottage Garden Samplings, and it's called Busy Spring. I am doing a bee theme in my kitchen, and I'm doing a great job, but I need to finish all of the bee things and get them mounted and put up in there, right? So this is, this looks like 18 count, some kind of 18 count Ada, and that is my start. It is not huge. I need a ton of colors for this one. Let's see, there's 8, 10, 12, 14 colors, and I only have like 4. Oh, you know what? Looks like I bought some. It looks like I bought some and never came back to the project. So that means I should get busy on this. Yay. Okay. And also, like, okay, I may have the color for the Q and the crown, but I didn't have the colors to be able to get all the way up there, right? To stitch my way toward that, to be able to stitch it. So that's why I said I really only had 4 colors that I had to work with, and maybe not even that. It just depends on where the placement was. Okay. Okay, next is Beekeeper Bigfoot by SamBrie Stitches. I thought this was super cute. So it's a really small project. I have a decent start. I think I have the Bigfoot itself done, and the Beekeeper helmet, except for the back stitching, I have that done. So, and I started with the arbor around him. I think I decided before that I was going to leave off the birdhouse and just add more bees, because it's about bees and not birds, and it just looks to me like the birdhouse is floating in air. That's just me and my preference. So I think I decided to leave that off and add bees. So in reality, there's not a ton of stitching left. There's a bee skep and some honeycomb. You know, we always say those things and it comes back to bite us later, like, oh my gosh, I thought I could get this done in 2 hours and it's taking me a week, right? Next up is Bittersweet Trio by Waxing Moon Designs. This one feels like it's taking forever, but I did have a floss missing and I had to get it. And that was $5.81. It's a green color. So I feel like I have great progress, but The Bittersweet is going to be the death of me because obviously, I don't know, it's really small, but it's in every one. So on the crow, it's wound around the stack of pumpkins. The fox, it's up along the sides, and so is for the squirrel. So the Bittersweet is going to be bittersweet because it's going to mean I get the project done, but it's going to be the death of me, I think. Okay, I'm stitching this on. When I purchased this, they told me that it was Dove Gray Monaco. I had never seen it before in my life, like in person, so I don't know what Dove Gray was supposed to look like, but to me it looks light blue. And I coffee tea dyed it for Halloween, but I thought that it would, the extra piece that I had left over from a Halloween stitch was going to be perfect for this. And I decided to put them all together into one row. I'm not going to lie, it was tricky. It was tricky because it's not designed that way. And so it was easy to put the line down between them. But then it was, the tricky part was, where do I put the leaves and how do I start the border, because it wasn't supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Like, so I just had to like think about it a little bit. And I think I'd have that done. The border is complete. So the fox is done except for the Bittersweet. The squirrel is done except for the sunflowers and the Bittersweet. And then I started with the sunflowers on this one for the crow. And so obviously it needs the most work, including the Bittersweet. And for this one, I am using all of the DMC alternative flosses, like the called for conversion that's listed on the chart. No overdyed flosses on this one. Flosses. As you can see, I had some hanging flosses there that I must have parked them for some reason, and I don't know why, but that happens sometimes too. Because I haven't worked on that one in a while, because I kind of got, besides stitching the pumpkins on the crow portion, I got stuck because I wanted to progress with the 581 that I was missing, and I couldn't do that until I bought it. And then I bought it, stuck it in the bag, and didn't go back to it yet. Okay, this is another new start in September, Cats, Bats, and Witches. Obviously the Prairie Schooler. And I started with the largest piece here. I started with that because I figured what I wanted to do is not have all of them started with the smalls, or not all of them started with the big pieces, because I felt that that could turn into discouragement later down the road in one way, shape, or form. So some of them I started with the big pieces, and some of them I started with the small ornament size pieces. This is one of the Monacos that is not dyed. I think this is probably just off-white or antique white or whatever it may be. So this is after 2 or 3 rounds of stitching. Just making my way across, doing the border as I get to it. So as you can see, this border, I actually did both colors. It's just a 1x1 orange and black. And then this one, I did on the bottom, I did the orange, because I knew that as I was doing the houses, I would have black on my needle and can come down and do those stitches as I went along. So I've got just a couple more stitches here toward the center. So that one's going to be cute too. And I do believe that the bulk of the stitching is the bottom half, and then there's just the words on the top. So there's that. But that's one reason why I like Prairie Schooler though, because it's all different. There's big blocks of stitching, there's words that go quickly, there's borders that you can just sit down and stitch while you're watching TV. I have a random piece of scrap floss that I found. Oh my heavens. So it just can give you that wide variety of stitching that you're looking for, and even full coverage. So in like the autumn leaves where you could stitch the smalls in full coverage, there's pieces of other projects that are designed as full coverage sections of the projects. And so whether you like full coverage or you don't, you know what I'm saying? You're going to get the whole wide range of, you're going to get confetti, you're going to get block stitching, you're going to get full coverage, you're going to get non-full coverage. It's just, I love Prairie Schooler. I love Prairie Schooler. That I have, my collection is pretty large. I think I have 18 projects of Prairie Schooler started. I have some finished. I have 2 or 3 that are not started yet, but there's not a ton left of, of Pamela Bird's designs left that I want to stitch for my home. So, I mean, they're all great, but for my home in particular. So, ooh, Christmas strawberries. Eventually, I hope to get them all, but not all, but all the ones that I want for my home. Christmas strawberries. I started with this one. I'll show you. Started with this, and then at the retreat in October, I actually decided to take it along because I wanted some finishes. So I ended up finishing to me, this was the easiest one, and that's why I chose it for September to start with. And so I did finish the stitching, and then I picked up the next one that I thought was going to be the easiest, and I will tell you that I was dead wrong. It's not easy. I did end up having to take a picture with my phone, put the picture into the Books app, and so I could highlight, because I was quickly losing my place. And even now, I'm not sure. Well, I think I've got it figured out now. So let me show you this one. This is just the simple plaid, I guess we can call it. And I started with the green, and it was really hard because of the curve on the outside. It was really hard to figure out where I was at. If it was just a square, it would have been fine. Oops, sorry. And then when I got sick of trying to find my place with the green, obviously I just started filling in the red, because there's no getting lost there. You're just filling all of the green blocks in and then putting some stitches in between. So yeah, I think I'm about 50% done with the green. So, 50%. It really is, though, in the center, when you're in the meat of the green, your eye can see the path that you want to take. It's just when you're at the curve, you're like, okay, how do I get here at the top, but I have all this floss left, and so how do I keep going? You could clearly, end your thread and pick it up somewhere else, but I don't like doing that. So I just had to decide how to do that and stay on track. But like I said, here in the meat of it, in the center, you really can see the path of where you're going to go. You're going to go around this way, and then you're going to go back up around, because as you can see, each block kind of is outlined with the borders of the next block. So you could go around and then go down and then do the top border on that block, the left border on that block, the bottom border on that block, and you could just keep snaking around. And it was super easy, but keeping track of where I was, that definitely was the hardest part in the whole thing. Okay. Have to, excuse me, sir. You see this big paw here? It just kicked me because he decided that he wanted to stretch out, as he does. I'm trying to, sorry, before I got kicked, I was trying to say I'm trying to keep the projects in alphabetical order, because I do think that will help me in 2025. Country Seasons. This is kind of 4 charts in one. You got one for every season, hence country seasons. I chose which one I was going to start based on what colors I had. Because I don't work from this master set thing that everyone talks about. Let me move my Notion just in case I need help. If say, okay, 10 projects need 310, I put 310 in all of the projects. I fully kit all of the things. Now, if I'm done with 310 in project number 1, I will pull it and put it back in my stash so that way I can use it for the next project. But I don't just have this master set that I pull pieces off of. I don't do that. Like, it doesn't make sense to my brain, so I don't do that. So anyway, sorry, my hair is growing. For some odd reason, I decided to grow my hair. And so I've always had wild and crazy hair. And so please don't mind if it looks kind of weird, because it does its own thing. Like, it can be perfectly straight. I can do it and use the straightener. And then I wake up in the morning, I'm like, what the heck happened? It's just absolutely crazy. So in order to do this video and not have it all over the place, I did put it up in a very loose ponytail. If it's too much tighter, I'm gonna get a headache. Okay, so anyways, as you can see, there's going to be rabbit trails. Based on my floss that I had to put into this project, I chose winter. Where's winter? Winter is here. I don't have a lot of the colors at the moment, but I was able to get 2 rounds of stitching on this, so 1,000 stitches or so. And here we are. It says winter. So that's as wide as it's going to be. Like, seriously, that's as wide as it's going to be. I do have enough to put a second one on here, and I think that this piece of fabric, like, by the time I stitch and get to the top, I might be able to turn it sideways and get a 3rd piece of this collection going this way. And then I need to dice more. It's over here, ready to go. If I was feeling well enough and thought about it, I probably could have got it done while I was on winter break. Didn't do it. Okay, next. What is this? Oh, Country Seasons 1 and 2, right? Country Seasons was that one. This is County Fair 1 and 2, which is the one that I talked about at the beginning of the video, where I'm counting it as one big project, but most people, because they're actually 2 separate charts, would count it as 2 separate projects. But what I did is, when I was doing Prairie Schooler September, I treated them as separately so I could get started on this book and I could get started on this book. I think I have 3 or 4 of them started, because solely on what floss I had available to me at the time. Because as you can imagine, trying to kit up and start 15 projects in 1 month is pretty costly. It could be pretty costly, and I kind of decided to do it at the last minute, so I didn't have time to go buy floss. So where are the started pieces? I have no idea, because I have all the pieces, all the pieces of fabric. Let's see, this is what I talk about when I just throw my floss in here. I did take a couple of days and go through all of my fabric that I had on hand, and what do I have available to me, what will work for each project. And I actually had enough Monaco. I think I have enough Monaco to do all the ones I have left. And then going forward, when the Monaco runs out, yes, you can buy pieces of Monaco from 123 Stitch or Fat Quarter Shop and other places, but they're pre-cut, so they're not suitable for all things. I wouldn't have been able to fit Adam Names the Creatures on one of those pieces that you can buy. So I can buy that. It's white. I can coffee tea dye it if I want to, or I can just move on to Lugana, a 28 count Lugana. Okay, so this one is the sheep out of book number 2. And this is how far I got on it. I must have stitched on this one twice. And I did what I could and then moved on, I believe. Let's see. I have no clue. So there's this one. I think this one is the hen from book 2, I believe. What I did was I need to keep them inside the chart, so I keep them separate. So not much progress, but I'm guessing that this is the hen. So I'll put these together. Because even though they all use the same colors, they're put in different, you know, they're rotated around. Some of it, like the red color or the teal colors used in the border here, there, or in the patchwork on the bottom, the checkerboard. So let's see, I think I only have one more of these started. Yep. Okay, so then County Fair number 1, the rooster is the one that I started. And look at that tail. Look at that rooster tail. It is large. I think I have it done, but it is quite large. And yeah, pretty great progress. I obviously didn't get the border finished before I had to move on to the next project, but I got the checkerboard done and the tail done. And both of those were, yeah, some good stitching there. I'm gonna put this one inside of that so I can keep them separated, and then I won't have to go and search. Sorry, it is difficult to shove all of this into one project bag. Okay, where did I leave off? There. Winter. Okay, the next one is Decorative Butterfly, and this is from Light Unicorn Designs on Etsy. She has some really great projects. This is on 18 count. Oh, this is small. Maybe this is 20 count. This is small. This might be 20 count. It's Ada. It's designed with lots of different colors to do shading. Because of the length of video, I do not have the capabilities this time to put in pictures. But you can go check out Light Unicorn Designs, put in Decorative Butterfly in the search bar in her shop, and this will come up. She used lots of blues and browns to do shading, and it's really beautiful. However, once I got going, there was like one stitch here, one stitch there, and I'm like, no. I don't like doing that. So what I did is I went to my local Needleworks shop, Stitch in Time in Saginaw, and I looked at the Threadworks because they're 20-yard skeins, and I said, which one can kind of mimic that feel? And Colette and I picked out several, and then we looked at the picture and kind of just went on what we thought was going to look the best. And we picked out, it's number 1051. And it is blue-gray, kind of blue-gray, and the gray kind of turns into a brown. I'm really not sure if you'll be able to see it in the skein, but you should be able to see it in the stitching. And I think it's really turning out well. And so there's 310 and then this color. Now in hindsight or retrospect, I don't know what's the correct word. If I had have known that I was changing the colors, the 310 I would have converted to a navy blue, and I think it may have blended a little bit better, but I do like the way that it's looking, and there's no way I'm going to start over. No, this is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So I'm trying to put in the 310 first so that it guides me along with the other color. But in some spots, there's only a couple stitches of the 310. So I just carry on and with the other color, and then I come back and fill in 310 later. But it's difficult, and this is why it's difficult, and I'll tell you really quickly, because I'm stitching that one color on all the symbols. So I just go and I'm like, oh shoot, that one was supposed to be black. So pros and cons of doing it either way, right? Okay, so decorative butterfly, we're getting there. This next one is by Tiana Handmade on Etsy, and I do believe that she's in the Ukraine, and I bought these when the Ukraine war started to support her. And I found her because of my daughter, actually. She had a piece of jewelry that she wanted, I believe. I believe it was this person. And when I was looking, I'm like, oh, she has some cross-stitch things. So I bought a cross-stitch thing, and this is the U.S. flag, and it's watercolor. And this is all that I have done. And this is on maybe 18 or 20 count Aida. Again, I'm not a journaler, so I don't have all the specs for everything. It's on Aida, small Aida. So I bought this one and I think 2 others maybe. There's Hello Fall, which is coming up. And again, with this one, I kitted it and didn't have all of the colors, but I do think that I have some blues and whites. So I'm not sure if I have everything that I need to continue or if I need to buy more still. So the next time I want to pick this up, I'm going to have to think in advance so that way I can get more colors, because I'm not necessarily a cross-country stitcher, like an extreme. Sure, I'll pick the color up and this is the back, but you'll get the hint. I'll pick the color up and I'll stitch across, but then when my thread runs out, I want to come back and fill in, and I don't think that I have a lot of the colors to be able to fill in those red stripes yet. So there's that. Decorative butterfly. Okay, sorry, like I said, I'm just trying to keep everything in order for future purposes to make it easy on myself. This one is George Decorates for Martha by Plum Street. Just gonna say that house was huge and it took me forever, but now that Mount Vernon is done, it'll still take a long time because there's a lot to this chart, but that house, I couldn't get to the left without stitching the house. So I had to get past the house so I could get to George Washington himself. And I wanted to stitch those big green leaves over here. I wanted to stitch them in the overdyed floss, so I kept forgetting to get it. I have it now, and I have some of them put in. I'm stitching this on 28 count Monaco. If you haven't figured out by now, Monaco is actually my favorite fabric to stitch on, and it's very sad that it's not available, because I'm just saying also that the Monaco was off the bolt, off a bolt of fabric, is, in my opinion, different than the Monaco that you can buy right now. This is my favorite, the bolt. So I have this much finished. Obviously, you can see that the house is not actually quite done because the windows need to be finished. One of the dormers is not finished, but the siding of the house is done, and George Washington does need his head, and then he's finished. And I did reach to the other corner. Now I just have to get busy and dig into the rest of the things. Last time I worked on it, I put in, I think some up here, the leaves, and maybe this started the Quaker Star. I'm not sure. But now I just have to get a move in. And she actually has quite a few Mount Vernon designs. On the back it says, a very special thank you to Pat Ryan for tirelessly stitching every Mount Vernon design I ever throw at her. Thank you, Pat. So there are several, and some of them have that house, and I told my family, no, I am not stitching that thing more than one time. This is it. It's huge. It took over one skein of floss to stitch the house. So I think that's enough, don't you? George Decorates for Martha was that one. This is a Halloween freebie from Charting Creations. I believe that you have to be in Charting Creations group on Facebook. I was at one time. I no longer am. Personal reasons. Nothing wrong with the company. Love them. All's great. You can only be in so many groups at one time. Now, back to the I'm not a good journaler. This was labeled as 18 count. I believe it shrunk tremendously, and the stitches are small and tiny, and I absolutely love it, but I don't know what it's called. So I'm going to hold it up just so you can see the modeling and the coloration. It's pretty cool. I have no idea what it is, but it's cool. So this is my progress. The last time I worked on it, I worked up the wing on the bat, and so I could start on the word Halloween, because it literally says Happy Halloween. And now I'm, oh gosh, I like stitching on this piece of this cross stitch project. I actually worked on this a lot when my father-in-law was in the hospital a year and a half ago, and I was working on the bat, and he's actually like, what are you working on over there? So I thought that was kind of nice of him to, like, even though he was in the hospital, he asked what I was up to. So, and this one is monochrome. It's all black, which makes it easy. No color changing. This one is Halloween. I call it, I don't know if this is the official name of it, but I call it the Halloween Mystery Sampler. It was from a cross-stitch group, another one that I'm no longer in. I didn't leave that group for any nefarious reason. They weren't doing anything nefarious. It's just nothing was happening in the group. So I decided to leave just to clean up my groups a little bit. And this was released in different parts over weeks. I don't know how to pronounce the designer's name. It's not English, and I just don't know how. If I can remember to put all of the details for all the projects in the description box, I will. Usually for WIP parades, I do not, especially now that I have 54 to 55 of them. It's hard. I believe that this is, this fabric is 16 or 18 count ale. My Pictureless Plus, I think. Anyway. And this is where I got to the last time that I stitched. So I think I put in the skeleton and some of the white bits. I'm not very far in it at all. This is how big the fabric is. So not very far. Not very far, but it's okay. We'll see about my rotation this year, which we'll get to that at the end if we have time. This is Halloweenies by Prairie Schooler. And they're just cute little smalls. A whole bunch of cute little smalls that only take about 1,000 to 1,500 stitches, I think, to stitch up. I finished one, and she was just, I think, the witch with the cauldron. This one, I don't think I did the back stitching yet, though. No. Oh, I finished two. Oh, my heavens. Okay, so the witch without the back stitching, I figured I would leave that for last on that one. And then I did the crow and actually got the back stitching done. And then I started on this guy. So, wow, I can't believe that I made that much progress. I must have stitched on this after September got done. So I'm doing pretty good. Let's see, there's 3, 6, 7, 8 of the smalls, and then the one in the center is a little bit bigger. Not horrible, but it's a little bit bigger. So not bad when I have 2.5 finished. I was doing a good job. It was really fun to do that September or Prairie Schooler September. So I highly recommend that you come up with a game yourself with no expectations. If he's kicking me again, he stretches and pushes and he doesn't care. Anywho, come up with a game. And if it's a failure, it's a failure. If it's a success, it's a success. Just give it a try because it's fun. Okay, this is Happy Fall, and this was another one by Tiana Handmade on Etsy. I'm using 18 count oatmeal Ada, which I thought would be perfect, and it is. And let's see, last time I worked on it, I think I was working on the orange pumpkin, and this is another one where it calls for a lot of DMC colors, and I have a lot, but I need more. And I'm noticing in my project bag that I have a whole bunch that are brand new skeins. So I'm wondering if I did buy some and then threw it in. Sometimes that's how I roll, that I'll finish working on a project for the rotation, or, you know, I just want to move on. But I'll write down what I needed and then I'll bring it home, throw it in, but I still move on to the next project. Just how I roll. And then, of course, what happens is you come around to that project and you have to prepare the floss in order to get started. Is that Halloween's? This is Harvest Time by Prairie Schooler. There's 3 different projects in here, and I'm doing the top one, the one with the like the village or the homestead or the farm. It looks like more of a village. I know the picture's small. I'm not sure if you can see it. What are you doing? What are you doing? Just moving up for a second. See if you guys can see him. He's just... I must be interrupting his snooze. Yeah. I worked on this one twice. I got some fairly decent progress. I worked more on the borders and working up from the bottom right corner to the top right corner. I need some more floss for this one too. It's an ongoing thing, again, with starting 15 projects or so in 1 month. It's difficult, but it's fun. Okay, there's that. After Harvest Time is Heads Up by Prairie Schooler. And my Notion is not loading, so that's great. Heads Up, again, lots of littles, so they go by pretty quickly. I think I finished 1. It took me 2 sessions to finish the first one, and then I moved on to the second, which my family voted. So I finished the witch, and then I moved on to, against my better judgment, my family picked the devil. So I'm stitching that. Whatever. It's all in fun. Yeah, my Notion is not loading after the next couple. Like, I don't know what's happening. Let's see if I open one. No, it's froze. Oh goodness, technology. 1 moment. Let's see if I can get it to load again. Okay, so that was Heads Up by Prairie Schooler. And then we have Heart Silhouette. I believe this was also Charting Creations in their Facebook group. She's stitching it on 20 count. There we go. 20 count Murano, which was, it's Lugana basically, but it's 20 count. So they called it Murano. And now Lugana is just, it's just all Lugana now. I think I said this the last time I picked up this project. I didn't even think when I picked it up, and I just started stitching over 2 with 2 strands. I have no idea why. So I'm basically stitching 10 count. and it's huge, and there's not a lot of coverage because on 10 count with 2 strands. And I've been thinking the last couple of weeks about this project that I want to pull it all out and start over. And my daughter texted a couple weeks ago, just 2 weeks maybe, and said, do you have any white floss? Well, I knew that I had a ton of white floss in here, and if she could find this project, she could find the floss and it wouldn't be any big deal. And I told her, I said, I want to start that over. And she said, no, you have so much done already. So this is huge, okay? It's huge. I don't know if I'll be able to get it all on screen. I am a good portion of the way through this project. And I love this color. I just wish that I had have started it over 1 with 2 strands instead. Oh, it'd be so good. Okay. I just thought I saw a mistake, but okay. Trying to find the right, or the top and the bottom. So here it is. This is the top. And yeah, we'll cover most of that. Yeah, I think this is the topmost part. So that's how big this project will be when it's done. I hope you can see it. Let me get closer so you can see the coverage is not that great. It's not horrible, but it's not great. But my daughter said, just keep going. So I will keep going. It takes because you're stitching on 10 count and I'm doing loop method, that I had already cut my floss. And I don't think that I will cut my floss any differently, because any leftover floss then will be cut differently than all the rest of my stash. I'm constantly having to get, I only get like 20, maybe 30 stitches in before I have to, before I have to get another piece of floss. So it's, because of that, it's kind of slow going. Okay. Hocus Pocus by Prairie Schooler. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Hocus Pocus. I started with the big piece on this one because the other 2 were smalls. All of it was smalls. So started on another big piece. Down in the right corner, as I usually do. And this is on the antique white. I think it's antique white Ada. I pretty much, besides the orange, there's little orange bits in the crow block, I finished that. And then I started on the block next to it, which is palm reading. Which you can't tell because I just took the black up straight. Because the palm, it's the background. It's a negative type of stitch. So I just started going up. So there's that one. Stitch on this one twice during September. Then I have the fabric for the smalls all ready to go when I get to that part. This is a Holly Tree Farm by Stitching with the Housewives. I thought I had it done, and I did not. I did finish this. I finished this at the retreat. Somehow it got put back in my whips. This was finished at the retreat. So I actually only have 53 whips instead of 54. Oh, that makes me so happy. So it was a little series of tree farm or hunting for your tree things by Stitching with the Housewives from a couple years ago. I forgot that I finished this at the retreat. I was so tired, and I said, I'm gonna do this, and I was just stitching, and it was like 10:30, and I finally got it done. But I was like, you know how, have you ever done that where you're stitching so late and you're so tired and it's like you're going cross-eyed and you can't even see what you're doing, you're just like blindly just going? Yeah, that was this. So this is a done, not going back in the box. Next is Into the Jungle by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This was an adopted WIP from somebody online. They didn't want it anymore, so their loss is my gain. She had already started a ton of it, and I would say this project is almost 75% complete. Last time I stitched on it, I worked on the bottom banner, but I didn't have a lot of colors. So then I started working on the leopard. Look at my floss is all coming out of the bag. So I do need to, okay, so if I were to do like a 500 stitch rotation on this, I could do that because every single one of these blocks is outlined in a pink or a green. So I could actually finish the outline on the leopard. I could do the outline on this one that she had started. I could outline the top 3. So in one outline is, I think, more than enough, or I could do 2 outlines and get my 500 stitches in. So I don't have to necessarily worry about the needed floss for this for the next time I stitch on it, but then I would the next time. So it's probably better that I just go ahead and get it, but who's got time for that? This is January by the Prairie Schooler. This was one of the WIPs I had going into September. The chart is a little bit big for this bag. Maybe I should swap it out. January. I have the small ornament done, and I'm working on the medium-sized piece, and I'm almost finished. Almost finished. The small got put up in the finishes upstairs. I have no idea where that's at. I think I have one more kid on a sled and some snowflakes, and I have to finish the house. So one rotation. One stitching rotation on this would be plenty to get this medium piece done. I would probably want to continue on to the large piece though, so that way I could have a start on that, and then the end would be near, which that house, the house on this, the large one is, it's pretty, it's big. I'm going to leave this one out. Actually, I need to swap the bag out for that one. It's too small. Let's see, that was January. This is Joseph. It's by Mill Hill. And this is the companion for Mary. I did get Mary done. I got the stitching for Mary done at the retreat as well. I was just going to town. So this is Joseph. And then I came home, did the beading on Mary, and then I immediately started Joseph. I worked on him a little bit more at the cross stitch meetup last month. Well, it's actually, it was 9 days ago on the 21st of December. And then I did do a little bit more when I got home. I started the staff and I finished his beard off when I got home. So besides his skin, like he needs his hands and his feet and his face, I believe that the stitching is done, like the actual cross stitching on his body. He just needs his skin. And then all the rest is beads. And then I need to finish the cross stitching on the staff. He's done. Oh wait, I'm sorry, no. He has a head, I don't know what the term is, but he has like a look, that thing on his head needs to be stitched. I forgot about that. And also, I have baby Jesus. Oh, I thought it was right here. Oh, yeah. Baby Jesus. And when Baby Jesus finally came in, she ordered it when she got these things. It must have been on back order or something. And she says, you do know that they have a trilogy of angels, a trilogy of shepherds, and a trilogy of the wise men, which you can't get the wise men right now. She said, but they do have a trilogy of the other things that go along with this. And I'm like, wait, what? Why didn't you tell me? So I don't want the angels. That's fine. But I would love the shepherds and the wise men. If you're out there and you actually have the wise men and you're never going to stitch them, send me a message. We'll work it out. I would gladly take them off your hands. I did find them on Mercari for a decent price, but I'd rather not buy from Mercari if I don't have to. So I do have Baby Jesus that I will start when I get Joseph done. And then when I get them done, I will finish them because Kim Hollingbeck told me that it's super easy. And I believe her because I've heard other people say that it was easy as well. I'm just going to go ahead and put Baby Jesus in this project bag so I don't lose it. So yeah. There's that. Okay, next. After Joseph is Joy in the Journey, and this is a Janlin kit, and it's actually designed by, Diane Williams. It doesn't say on the cover sheet, but I believe it's Diane Williams from Little House Needleworks. I believe, because she's talked about it. Someone posted in the group, and I talked about it. So I don't have a ton of progress on this one, but it's a start. It's one of those projects that's just slow going. I am using all of the provided kit materials, but it's cute. I don't know where I stitched on last time. I might have worked on more words, maybe the bee skep. I don't know where I worked on last time. This will get more progress in 2025, hopefully. Okay, after that is Crossword by Long Dog Sampler. This is on 28 count Monaco, I believe. No, it's actually on 18 count Antique Ada using DMC 915. It's what I had left over from stitching Pandemic, and I have a lot left over because I bought a cone. And I didn't use as much on Pandemic as I thought I was going to, and I have a lot left over. So I decided that I would stitch these crossword. There's 3 crossword puzzle type designs from Long Dog Sampler. 2 of them I will stitch in 915. The Christmas one, I can't remember what it's called, 1 down, 3 across or something. That one I will do more Christmassy. And I think I already know what I want to do. So this one I'm stitching it as designed. The next one I will actually stitch the negative. So the unstitched, or where she charted the stitches to be, I won't stitch those. I'll stitch the uncharted spots. Does that make sense? I don't know if I'm making sense. I think I'm about 25% finished with this. The piece is quite large. Not large. It's large. It's large. But last time I focused on filling in some of the letters in the blocks that I already had open. So to kind of finish out that quadrant of the project. That's what I decided to do last time. And so here's some of, I have one more baggie of this. I had cut all of the floss off of the cone, and I used a yardstick. So and then I put them in 8 pieces. So it's just under a skein, because obviously a skein of floss is 8.7 yards, and I did about 1 yard per. So I have, in this bag, I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 skeins of 915, and then I have a bag that I think has 10 or 11 skeins in it, so I have plenty to do these 2 projects. The other project I haven't even started yet, but I want to, because I want this as a set. So I'm just going to put the floss in here, put the baggie away to use for something else. I discovered that these bags were Joanne brand. I don't know what the brand was, but they were just a Joanne brand, and now they're not. Now they're Big Twist, I think, and they're slightly different. So I'm kind of disappointed because they don't necessarily match these. So I do recycle them. I reuse. Next is, this is by Kesslin. It's called Lady Liberty. I don't know why it's called Lady Liberty necessarily, but okay. I'm stitching this with Classic Colors Blacksmith Blue and Ribbon Red. I bought, I think, way more than what I needed, but I didn't want to run into a dye lot issue just in case. So I think I bought 4 skeins of the red, ribbon red. And I must have bought 4 skeins of the blue, and I am on the 2nd skein. So I have 2 left, Blacksmith Blue. I thought they looked really good together, and this is really cool. I'm stitching this on white Monaco and 1/1. And that's another thing too. Like she's charted it with Gloriana silk, and I don't see where she said how much she needed. I think she says it on here somewhere, but to not keep you in suspense. So I'm doing it 1/1 on 28 count. So I didn't need as much floss, but it'll go in my stash and it'll be fine. So I like to stitch in the bottom right-hand corner. As you can tell, there's nothing in the bottom right-hand corner. So what I did is I flipped the chart over and started in the bottom right corner of that. And so I'm going this way. So technically I'm stitching down, right? But I'm actually almost, let's see, 1, 2, second. I'm about here. I got this much done. And so I have that much left to go of the blue. And, but yeah. And I have to get so far. I think I might be far enough where I could start stitching the red, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to get there. I didn't think that far ahead. But I do know that, okay, stitching this way 1/1, if I got to a point where I'm like, well, it would be easier for me if I stitched this way, stitching it 1/1, this way the stitches are going to go in the same orientation, so it doesn't matter. So I can stitch it this way or this way now. It has a lot of things to say. But I have all of my floss ready to go. And so this particular piece, while it's only 2 colors and stitching 1/1 is not hard, I do only do it for a little while. I do feel that my eyes are getting worse, so I probably should get on with this sooner rather than later, so that way I can get it done. Okay, I need to get a move on it here so I don't run out of room on my phone. Lady of the Flag by Mirabilia. I did put quite a few stitches in I think 1,100 or 1,200 stitches in this this year. I wanted to do another 500 before the end of the year, and it's not going to happen because we're only 1 day away. And this is, it's not gonna, I don't have anything large enough to put behind it, so sorry. But this is my progress so far. Last time I worked on it, I was working on those blue colors on the flag. And obviously I was parking stitches, or at least just putting my thread somewhere. I must have been at the top of the Q-snap or the top of the page. I'm almost done with the red and white parts of the flag. Almost. So what I was doing for this one is taking a picture of the chart and putting it in books on my phone or the iPad and stitch it and marking off that way. I do not recommend doing that. Find a better way. And so once I got up to the top, top of the picture, then I needed to stop and take another picture and find my place. And that's why I say it's not a good process. Don't do that. Do something better. Do something better than that. Okay, so this one is Liberty Eagle by Blackbird Designs. And I'm stitching, there's a pin cushion and a sampler. I'm stitching the sampler. The pin cushion is on the back. And I believe my hair's falling down again. I believe I'm 50% done with this one. I do not believe I will stitch the pin cushion. I think just the big sampler is enough. I am using the, I'm assuming it's, yeah, the DMC conversion listed on the chart. And this is how much I have so far. So as you can see, basically the top of the eagle's head is the center. So I am done. In the center on his chest is the alphabet stitched 1/1. I don't want to do that, so I'm trying to think of something else to put in there. And I think last time I worked on this, I had it kind of worked out what I wanted to chart, but I need to chart it. So this is on a 30 count linen that I had in my stash. So it would take me probably 2 to 3 weeks non-stop stitching on this to get it done. I don't think that's horrible. Liberty Games by Erica Michaels is the next project here. This one is another crossword style. It's all in overdyed flosses, but I chose some overdyed floss, and I think, oh, actually so far all I have is overdyed floss except for the black. Is this black? 310. I don't know. I don't leave notes for myself, apparently. So I didn't like necessarily the colors that were chosen in the chart, so I, with the help of Colette at Stitch in Time, kind of chose some of my own. So the reds are, I think one of the reds is a little different, and the blue might be different. So what is it? No, the blue is the same. It's Battleship by Weeks. But she calls for Raspberry by Weeks, and I think that's the one that I changed. I got Lancaster Red instead of that one. Yeah, Lancaster Red I switched out. And I don't have all of them. Again, I got the colors that I needed to stitch in the area that I started. And this is on Vintage Country Mocha, Lugana by Zweigart. And I do not have a lot done at all in comparison. I've done some letters and started on the Redcoat soldiers, the British soldiers down here. I literally have their red coats done. Man, there's a lot in here. But I think the borders of the squares, of the crossword squares, are backstitch, and that's why I don't have them on there. And it makes it a little trickier to count where I need to go. So there's that. I don't know what I'll do. I usually decide what I'm going to do when I get to it. But this is where I'm at so far. Not horrible. I have two words completely done, and I almost finished the word colonies. I just need an L or a C. Why didn't I stitch it? Okay, so after Liberty Games is Love Lavishly. I think that's in the other bin. Sorry. Let me see. Let me see where it's at. It's after The Office. No, it's not. I moved it. I lost it, guys. Oh, here it is. Okay. Because I have, this is from the Superb Owl event that Lindy Stitches and Hands On Design did for on a special football day in February last year. And I don't have cover pieces for these. I only have the charts, but I will show you Love Lavishly first. And this one is by Lindy Stitches, and she designed it 2 different ways. You could design it in a football theme, or you could design it with a heart. So I decided to stitch it with the heart. And so it's a big owl. The owl will be here and he's holding a heart. The other version, he was obviously with his talons, he was holding a football. And I chose, I could not get the fabric that she stitched it on. So I got Serene by Picture This Plus. It happened to be at my shop and I found it. And here we are. I am using all of the called for floss for both of these. So even if it's an overdyed versus a DMC, I just chose whatever they told me to get. I must have had a little extra stitching money or something. So I worked on this twice. Okay, so I will leave that one out because we're going to use that again because I put those both in the same bag. Love that. Okay, Memorial Day by Hands On Design. I've been stitching on this one for a while and the flags are quite large, but I think the last time I think the last time I worked on it, I finished a flag, maybe. I'm not sure. This is on 28 count white Monaco. Oh yeah, I think I finished the flag. Worked more on the words. And I think I put a little bit down in the grass too. So this is how big the piece will be. That's how big the piece is. Are you all right back there? He's making noise. I am using the DMC called for conversion on this one because I thought the colors were good. And I just went along with it. Oh boy, this is a big one. I don't have very much done on this one. And I don't have the designer listed, so I need to go and look that up. I bought this on Etsy. This is, I'm calling it Middle Earth. And it is the map of Middle Earth from Lord of the Rings. It's on 18 count antique white Aida. It is a full coverage. This is half of the fabric needed to give me a 3-inch border. It's huge. My husband liked this, and so I decided to stitch it for my husband. This is the entire piece of fabric. I don't even know if you could see it. I've stitched on this, I think, once, and I needed more colors. I do not believe that I got them, so I'm kind of stuck. I should probably get the colors so I can get moving. And this is how much I have done out of this entire huge piece of fabric. I think it's like over, oh, is it 300,000 or 600,000? I don't even know. But here, let me move these up here out of the way so you can actually see, like, it's browns and blacks. I think a little bit of purple, actually. There might be, yeah, like a maroon and a purple to give it dimension. This piece of fabric is huge, and it will be completely covered if I ever get this done. Long-term project. Not anytime soon. I do have a lot of floss in here, but I do not think that I have the colors that I need to proceed. So I need to do an inventory of this one and see what I need to buy. Maybe I'll do that today and tomorrow. I'll inventory all of these and get the floss needed. Next is Narnia. I think it was actually called C.S. Lewis Stitch Along. It's by the Stitching Book Club, if you've ever heard of her. And that's what she uses for these stitch alongs, but I think she had, like, her main company was a different name, but I'm not sure. I can't remember, and I haven't seen anything from her in a while. I call this one Narnia. And it's on 28 count Monaco, white Monaco. I did work on this for Whitco. It got called, and I did the trees for sure, and some more down here, I think. So progress is progress. I do not like working on this chart because I don't like all of the color changes. I think that some overdyed floss would have been a better choice. I'm not knocking the designer whatsoever. It's just because it's my preference to not color change that often. If I had to realize, and it was a mystery stitch along, you got in installments, and I probably will never work on mystery stitch alongs again. Because if I had to realize that there were so many color changes, I would have actually converted it to overdyed flosses, so I didn't have to do that to myself. So, like I said, nothing against her. It's a really pretty design. It's just I can't stand the color changing. So it's really hard for me to work on. Nevermore by the Prairie Schooler. This is on antique Monaco, antique white Monaco. I think I only stitched on this. Oh no, stitched on it twice because I finished one small. Finished the urn. And then this is the crow. And I can't show you because the pattern, oh wait, maybe like this. It's sideways, but see the crow? That's a bigger picture of the one that's on the front. So I have, oops, I have this much. I might have to edit that out. I think I flashed you the chart. It's against the rules. So what I did is I flipped it. I think I actually had 2 pieces of this size. And I'm like, why did I do that? So I took the piece of fabric out and I just flipped it because I had plenty of room over here and started the crow. Next up is Pumpkin Patch by the Prairie Schooler. Okay, the next project is Pumpkin Patch by the Prairie Schooler. And again, I don't have a lot of thread, so I made as much progress as I could, and here we are. So I'm working on the pumpkins and the vines going along the bottom, and then that's all filled in because it's a pumpkin patch. Yeah. And I do like the smalls too, but this one I decided to start with the big one and see how far I could get. I don't know why I did that on this one, but that's where we are. And with most of them, or all of them, I have the fabric for the smalls all ready to go. Just making sure I put that in the right spot. Okay, we only have about 15 more to go. Okay, this one is from Hands on Design, and it's Seasons in Chalk, Stars and Stripes, and it was in the Just Cross Stitch magazine, and I don't have the physical copy of the magazine, so I don't have a picture to show. I believe it goes this way, and I started down here and I worked up, and the last time I worked on it I was working in the red of this flower, so I did the white outline and then I started filling in. And this is on 28 count black Monaco. They actually stopped making black Monaco quite a few years ago, before I started cross stitching in 2018 actually, and I saw something that made me believe that they were making it again, but I don't think so. But Monaco really is my favorite, whether it's the regular colors or the black, but coming off the bolt is my favorite. Okay, so this one is Seasons in Chalk Winter, and I actually do have the magazine for this one. So this is what this is supposed to look like. This is also on 28 count Monaco. It's from Hands on Design. And I think I worked on this recently, and I put in, well, I finished the R. There's a little bit of the blue in the R that wasn't done, and then I put in the E. I may have put in more of the swirl on the bottom too. I just can't remember. So there's a bit to go. This one got put on pause, shoot, the first time that when I started it, I ran out of the white color, and for some reason I thought I had enough, and no, you don't have enough. So I ran out. Oh, I took a break for lunch and put on a sweater because I was cold. When you do the chalkboard charts, you need a lot of white. Okay, so that's the first bin. Now I have about 12 in this bag. The next one then is by the next two are from Boris Designing, but it's spelled weird. Boris Designing, and it's Super Mario Brothers 3, and it's all them. You can buy them, and they're all the maps, like the world maps from the game. And I'm stitching, so far I'm stitching World 1 and World 8. So this is World 1. And I don't think that I need to show you what it's going to look like because I am like 50% done. So here's my progress so far. I think to here all the way down is finished, all filled in. This is on 18 count antique white Aida. With the called for DMCs. In 2024, I had a goal for this to be done, and obviously you can see that I did not meet that goal. And the reason is I got derailed by life and designing, and I haven't been able to get back to it, but I am going to put this on for a finish this year. And it should actually be easier because I have 4 months worth of stitching already, you know, like I cut down the amount of stitches by 4 months is what I'm trying to say. So in 2024, I had to do 1,861 stitches per month to get it done by the end of the year, and I did 4 months worth. You know what? Maybe I did more than that. Maybe I did 5, but I'm thinking really 4. So that helps. That's what, 7,600 stitches less than what I did at the beginning of 2024. So that is helpful. Okay, this one doesn't fit in the tote bag very well. Then the next one is World 8. This one is on 18 count Sand by Zweigart. And I have a small start on it. I worked on this on 2 different occasions. I started off trying to do the parking method, and I really wasn't liking it. So I kind of put it off, working on it again. But then I had decided, forget the parking method. It was just confusing me. I ended up with too many threads. And when I went to stitching group, actually about a week or so ago, I asked Kim Hollingbeck, when her and I ended up to be the only ones just because it was so close to Christmas. So we had a great opportunity to talk about things. And I asked her how she liked filling in, because sometimes she does extreme cross country by color. And so I asked her what she thought, because once I started working on this the second time, I didn't find any difference in my stitches. I thought that doing the parking method would give me better stitches, but it's all the same. And considering that it's on 18 count. Oh, I have a string stuck in my zipper. Since it's on 18 count, once you put it on the wall anyways, you're not going to be able to tell if one stitch is a little different than the other stitches. So what I did is I continued on with the background. All of these have a background, whether it's blue for the water world, or the sand in the grasslands, which is World 1, or this darker sand color in World 8. So I continued on with the sand until basically I couldn't take it anymore. And then I decided that I was going to stitch the black parts, and this is the start of the castle, like the outlines of the castle pieces. So when I pick this up again, I will work on the background until I can't stand it anymore. It's because it's 3 colors. In World 1, there's only 2. So it's a little bit trickier because it's 3 colors. And then I will work on the castle bits and stuff. So this piece, this project, I don't think is, I can't remember if it's bigger or smaller or the same size as the other one. So, but I just think that that's a good way to go, is to do some in the background, because there's so much of it. There's actually less background on this one, I think, than the world one. But do some of the background, then do some of the fun bits. Do some of the background, do some of the fun bits. And I will continue doing that throughout. And I'm doing that with the other one as well. I do like a little bit of each. Okay, next up is Stars and Stripes by the Prairie Schooler. This was one of my WIPs that I had going into September. And I'm stitching them as pairs. So I stitched George Washington and Abe Lincoln as a pair, and then I stitched the whale and the ship as a pair, and then I finished that pair and started on the third. So I'll show you where I am so far. So pair number one, let's put this behind it so you can see. Pair number one was the Presidents, and this is on Ivory Monaco. And then this is done except for the back stitching. There's it underneath of the whale, it says sea to shining sea in the water. You back stitch the words. And so I'm going to leave that to the end just to make sure that it stays as good as possible. I don't want to mess it up any. So yeah, last time I finished off the ship, and this was in September. I finished off the ship, and then I started on the Liberty Bell. Oh, I have a piece of floss stuck. Get that back in the bag. So I started working on the Liberty Bell, and I think I was able to work on this twice, finishing up the little bit on the ship, starting this, and then when I came back around, I put in 500 more stitches. So that's pretty awesome. So then the, what's next to it? The eagle will go next to the Liberty Bell. So I have, what, 2 out of 4 pairs complete. So I'm 50% done. There is a little tiny flag bonus chart that you can do, but I don't think I have any of this Ada or this Monaco left, but I do have some extra fabric on the side that may be big enough. I'm not sure. So I'll have to take a look at that when I get them all done. The 4 pairs come first. If I have enough for the flag, that's just a bonus. Okay, so then this, oops, I skipped this one. I took this out on accident. This is the Nativity by Cottage Needleworks. The picture is extremely small, so I'm not sure if you can see it. It's just really, really tiny on this. This, of course, calls for, oh, this one's actually, because it's Cottage Needleworks, it's, I don't see a copyright date on here offhand. Oh, 2014. It's all DMC colors, but I think I have them all now. I didn't, for the first couple of times I worked on it, but I do have them now. And last time I was able to get quite a bit more progress done because of that. I worked on filling in blank spots in the manger scene, and then I started working on the wise men up top. So I just was filling in the blanks where I didn't have the colors before. And this is that Dove Gray Monaco. I'm not sure if the color comes through or not, but to me it looks blue, but that could have just been the way that it was. But anyways, back to the Nativity. I think I put in the star and the baby Jesus because I think I needed the skin color. So I put in the skin, and that might have been all that I needed to put down there. Okay, so then after the Nativity, we have the office. I believe it's by Stitch Area from Etsy. I don't know if you can hear him, but he's snoring now. Yeah. So this is on 32 count Lugana. I have no idea what color this is on. Like I said before, I'm a bad journaler. I don't take good records, but I'm going to try to get better at that. So this is inspired by the TV show The Office, the American version, and I maybe 24%, if that, done. Not very much. I think last time I worked on it, I was working here. I think I finished the Dwight bobblehead, and that's about it. That's all I did last time, but I don't even remember when last time was. So yeah, this has very slight modeling. It's kind of a gray neutral. It's really pretty, but I have no idea what color it is. There's some big splotches up here, but I don't care. I thought it would be a nice background to this one. Okay, and after The Office is the Stitching Parliament, which is Kathy from Hands On Designs' contribution to the Superb Owl event. And that's right here. I did, while I took my break and let my phone charge and eat lunch, this looks to be actually the same fabric as The Office. I don't think it is. I thought I bought a new piece, but I may have just lucked out and got the same. I don't know. Anyway, while I took a break, I charged my phone, ate lunch, put on a sweater, but then I also separated the Love Lavishly and the Superb Owl, or the Stitching Parliament, just so that way I could have them separate. They only shared one floss color, and I already finished that floss color, so in the Love Lavishly. So this is, I believe this to be the same fabric as the last project we worked on. And so this is my start. It's 4 owls. Is that the bottom? How is it? I mean, it must be like this. But they're 4 owls. And this is a huge piece of fabric. I won't need, look at, I think I just bought like a quarter or a quarter yard, I think. Why, I have no idea. And so that was my tiny start that I did on the football day, the special football day. And I'm not saying it, the name of it, just because the NFL doesn't like you to say it. So, yeah, that's just my small start. But it's on 32 count, so these stitches are small. But it's so cute. I cannot wait to get this done. I think I marked this, let me see, the Stitching Parliament. I think I marked it as a finish. Let me open the Notion for it. Yes, I marked it to be a finish for 2025. So you should see this coming out more in the coming months. Okay. What is this? This is the 3 Wise Men that I got. I think it's Designworks. Oh, Designs for the Needle. So I'll have to change it on my Notion. This is also an Adopt-A-WIP that I got, but I restarted it on my own Ada because I could not really like gather where the previous stitcher left off. The only parts that I have left, the back stitching. Let me show you. So I was able, I think in September, I finished all of the stitching, and all that's left is the back stitching, but there's a lot. There's a lot. Let's see, the little tiny town down here has back stitching. There's back stitching for the Star of David, and then the all of the Wise Men and Camels are back stitched as well. I think I slated this for a finish last year, which I did get the cross stitching done, but now I think I have it slated to finish the back stitching. So hopefully I'll get those done. So this is moving on to the next, so that way we can keep a good pace here, is Trick or Treat by the Prairie Schooler. And another Halloween piece. which Halloween is my favorite by the Prairie Schooler, but I like some others too. I don't stitch Santa Clauses usually because we don't do Santa Clauses here in our home. So there's a lot of Prairie Schooler charts that eliminates right off the bat because I don't do Santas. Okay, so I started with the small, this one here, the tree, the house, and I did not get it done, but I'm almost there. Sorry, my nose is itchy. So I have to finish the windows and the lantern, and I think the pumpkins and then the back stitching. Yeah, because this pumpkin doesn't have a face. The orange pumpkin does not have a face or a stem. There's the porch light that needs to be done and the windows. And then, like I said, the back stitching. And then it's finished. Almost. But I don't, these kind of charts, I don't count it as a finish until I stitch all of them. So the smalls and the large ones. So it takes a while for me to count it as a finish because there's a lot of chart. Okay, this one is Vintage Animals by Jeanette Douglas. She used hand-dyed floss or over-dyed floss, and it has a lot of colors. And at the time, I did not have the money, so I used DMC instead. Some of the DMC conversion is blends, but I chose my favorite color. I just chose a color from the option, the two that she was blending together, and just I'm going with it. So like I have a post-it note with the symbols and the color I chose. Every once in a while I'll be like, there's something next to it that's already using that color, so I'll use the opposite color. I'm a little bit free with it, and that's fine. So this is also on Dove Gray Monaco, and I think it goes really well with the colors, especially the blues. There's not a lot of blue in this one, but the blues are really pretty. And so I think it just lends itself to this project very well. Let's see, last time I worked on it, I was working here in the top right. I do not think I put any into the alphabet, but I was working on the flowers on the top, or toward the top anyways. It's not quite the top yet. This one, I would say that I'm approaching 50 to 60%. 50, maybe 60% finished. So this is the entire piece of fabric. So, I mean, if we're coming up to here-ish, there's not a lot left. I think I'll work on the alphabet on the left-hand side. So to get up here, and then I'm right here. So there's a little bit in the corner here that's not even stitched, if you can see that. So I think I might continue on with the butterflies, go this way, but then also this, and then we'll meet in the middle. Yeah, I was working here last time, so very cute. I picked this one. I came across it somehow. I don't even remember how. And my first thought was it reminded me of my parents, or my grandparents. So I posted it on Facebook and tagged all of my family members, like my aunts, my mom, my dad, my siblings, the ones that I'm friends with on Facebook. And I said, what do you think when you see this? And both my mom and my aunt both said their parents. So I'm like, okay, I'm doing it. So that's how I got doing that one. Okay. Just 4 more. Okay, so this one is The Witching Hour, and this was one of my 4 WIPs going into September. And I'm stitching the big one first and leaving the little ones till last, which is going to be, they're going to be quick. Those littles, those small ones are going to be quick. See, they are 50 by 33, those little ones are. And the big one is 145 by 108. This is on Monaco. And I don't know if you've noticed, if you're familiar with Prairie Schooler, they don't use 310, they use 3371. On all but one of my Halloween Prairie Schoolers, I swap the color out for 310. And that's just my preference. Other than that, I don't swap the colors for Prairie Schoolers. I leave them as charted. But I prefer the black. And so here is my progress. I am almost finished. I almost finished the alphabet last time, and then I started working on the witches and the moons that are on the top. There's a lot of back stitching on this one to create movement from the witches, but it's straight lines. It won't take very long at all once I get to that point. I believe everything under the fold, you see my fold line, everything under the fold I believe is done. Except for maybe a little bit of back stitching on the pumpkins that the trees are holding. They might have some vines coming off. So then I just have to finish everything above the fold. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I should probably slate this as a complete project finish because the smalls won't take me very long, and then this should take me a week, and then the smalls should only take me like 2 or 3 days max each. So I should probably go in and mark this one as a finish, but I will do that as we in the next couple of days, today and tomorrow, before the end of the year. I will work on getting that taken care of. This is Witching Hour was just what I showed you. This is Words to Live by Tiny Modernist. This is on 16 count black Aida with very bright DMC colors. Here's what the entire project will look like, or how big it will be. So it's a large one as well. Last time I worked on it, I worked here in this block and in the middle block down there. So I have 4 blocks complete, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to finish, plus the big 4. The middle one is the size of 4. So 12 blocks to finish. Plus the border. I guess you really have to fold it to get it fit back in the bag. All right, I think 2 more. Yes, these are fairly recent. One is a Christmas Day start. So let's see. First one is Cross Stitch for the Earth. It's from the Cross Stitch for the Earth book by Emma Congdon. She doesn't have them named, but they're numbered. So I put in here, I'm doing number 3. In the front of the book, she shows what they all look like, and then they have numbers in the corner, and then you just find them on the list and go to the page. It's like a table of contents. So this one is Pardon the Weeds, We're Feeding the Bees. We're on page 18. Oops. So here is what it should look like when it's done. I don't think I have all the colors. I think my family gave me the book for a present, and I don't remember when, and I started it like then. I found one that I could start. This is 18 count antique white Aida, and those are just the bits that I could get done. And it doesn't look like much because, I mean, this says bees right here, but I'm missing the color that goes on top. So another one that I need to go shopping for. So that was Cross Stitch for the Earth, design number 3. And then this Christmas, they gave me Cross Stitch for the Soul. So of course I paged through the book to find, this one feels bigger. I flipped through to find a design that I could get started with right away. I looked, what fabric do I have and what Oh, I marked it down as number 7, but it's actually design, or number 8, but it's actually design number 7. Here we are. It's Believe in Yourself. I had several of the colors, and I had a piece of fabric. I do believe that it's the same fabric that the Stitching Parliament and the Office is on. It was just this little tiny strip, and I got some decent progress. So I almost have the light blue, the bright blue shading on the word yourself finished, almost. And then the flower is done and the vines are done. It's just there's 2 leaves that I didn't have the colors for the leaves. And so, shopping. This one is small. I only need, I think, 2 greens and 2 pinks and a blue. So I need 5 skeins for this one, and I would be able to finish this in no time. So it's 32 count Lugana, and I should have a nice piece up here, up on top left, to go back into my stash as well, because this piece isn't very big, this project. Okay. And that's it. That's all of my WIPs that I have going into 2024, or into 2025. So I'm carrying 53 WIPs with me. Technically 54 if you want to count County Fair 1 and 2 as separate. Whatever. And so I don't have huge plans for 2025. I obviously want to get some finishes. I will love it if I got more finishes than I did in 2024. So I'm going to go through and mark some as finishes. I've participated in WIP Go the last 2 years. This year I didn't get a blackout, but I think I finished the majority of the challenges, like my numbers. I finished most of them. But I also started designing, and those were 3 decent size designs. And so there was that. I got sick 3 times this fall, so there was that. Actually 4 times, technically. To the Med Express 3 times, but technically 4 times total. So, and there's been a lot of life things. So next year, we never know what our lives have in store for us. But I mean, if we could plan things out, yes, I would like to get more finishes. I would like to get at least 3 more designs done for my business, for Cornerstone Stitchery. I would like to double, not double, but add at least 3 a year. I wanted to do that this fall, and I wasn't able to do it. And then I thought we were going to end up with snow day before winter break started. And I told myself, if we have a snow day, you're getting the computer out and you're going to get to it. Well, we did not get the snow day. And then I just really wasn't yeah, I was recovering and lounging and relaxing, just resting up during winter break. So I didn't get that done. But in 2025, I would like to do 3 designs. One should be pretty simple. Well, so one should be pretty simple. And the other 2, I haven't decided which ones I want to do yet. So I just have to wait for inspiration to strike, and I need to get working on them. So once I start working, then it'll start to flow. I don't have any plans for release dates or anything like that, but they'll come. So I'm not sure if I want to participate in WIP Go again this year. If I did, I don't know, like, opinions. There's still time. The numbers have been called, but there's still time for you to leave me your opinion. Should I put the things that I want to finish on the WIP Go board, or should I put other projects on the WIP Go board to ensure that they get worked on? Like, that Middle Earth project is so large, and if I don't pick it up and work on it, it's never going to get done. Lady of the Flag, is I started January 1st. It was my new year, new start in 2020. I should really get that done. For my daughter, she's waiting, and then it needs to be framed. Yeah, so I mean, if I did a WIP go, that definitely has to be on there because I need the motivation and like the challenge, like the prompting to get it done. I was, like I said, I was really hoping to get 50 or 500 more stitches on it by the end of the year, and that's not going to happen. So I don't know if you guys have any opinions on if I participate in WIP go, what should I put on my board? Um, Let me know. Comment below and let me know if you're participating in WIP go and how you're going about yours. Are you doing new starts, WIPs, full coverage, non-full coverage? Are you tracking by stitches or hours or days? Like, let me know how you're doing it because I usually count stitches when I'm doing things like that, but let's see. So I would love to hear from you and know what you're doing. But I usually say this at the beginning, but I think I failed to do that. So I want to do that here. I want to thank all of you for following me on this journey. There's only, I think, 10 more days until my 4-year anniversary of being here on YouTube. So I thank each and every one of you. Even though our little family here on Cornerstone Stitchery is pretty small, a lot of you have been following me since the beginning, and you commenting and watching and liking has really motivated me to keep going, to share my story and my journey along with you. And even if you've been here from the beginning or you just joined last month, I highly appreciate you doing so. When I know that there's so many more people out there that you could be watching, I appreciate you even giving me a chance. So thank you so much, and I hope that you have a great new year, or a great day, no matter when you are viewing this video. So I hope that you've seen something in this video that helps encourage you and inspire you to pick up a languishing WIP or maybe even try something new. And until I see you again, bye.